Hi there, this is Katie with the channel Weather Shaman. Welcome if you're new, and a big hello to my returning subscribers. Today I am joined by my dear friend and client and fellow YouTuber, James. And James is going to be sharing with us today some of his wisdom, experience, strength, and hope on how he deals with change in his life. And then we're going to be sharing some healing affirmations with you about change and how to navigate change in your life, beautiful soul. James, do you want to tell them the name of your YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's just my initial J and then the writer, Jay the writer.
Jay the writer. So yeah, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to James's YouTube channel. He makes amazing poetry, and he's submitted poetry to this channel as well. And I'm going to put all the information in the description box below. And so James, how do you deal with sudden unexpected change when you have that come up in your life out of the blue?
Well, I think you have to have a really strong support system around you. Friends, family, and for me, I mean, because I work a lot, for me it's my coworkers and my family. And I also try to remember that there's two types of change. There's permanent change, like loss of a loved one, and then there's temporary change, like wintertime. Wintertime, people hate being cold during the wintertime, but it's going to be spring and summer in just a few months. That's a temporary change.
I like that. I never thought about that there's temporary change and permanent change, because you hear people say this too shall pass, and that applies with temporary change, but with permanent change it's a little harder. So how would you say one can deal with permanent change when it is like the loss of a loved one per se?
Well, that's probably different for each person, but I mean, you have to have like I was saying, I think you have to have a strong support system, and you have to have something that you're passionate about that keeps you going.
I like that. To still go on and live life and don't stop living life, and just keep moving forward and do what you love doing. I love that a lot. And I know that you're a writer too. Do you find that writing poetry helps you to move through the emotions that come up with change in your life?
I do, because it's like my little personal diary of things I can put in there, and like if I'm feeling something that I don't want to express to other people, I can just put it in my journal, because I do writing online too, so I can put it in there. I can put it in my notebook.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to channel energy. And it what?
Oh, I was just saying it helps you. It helps to get your thoughts on paper before you voice them to anybody else.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's really good. I've talked to a lot of people recently that have been telling me they journal when things are coming up in their life and they're getting stressed out. They journal, they write it down to try to figure out what's going on in their subconscious. And then poetry is a great outlet. It's a great way to express yourself creatively and put it out there. And I love your poetry, by the way. It's amazing. I mean, you're a very gifted poet. So how do you push through any fears that come up with change? Like if you know you have to make a change in your life, but you're fearful of how you're going to do it, and there's a lot of fear, and you feel resistant and you feel stuck, like how do you get unstuck and push through that fear?
Well, for me, I think it's like I have an overwhelming sense that my basic needs are always going to be met, even if I don't know exactly how they're going to be met, they're still going to be met. So knowing that, then that helps me to push forward with the changes that I need to make.
I like that. As long as your basic needs are going to be met, and you know that you're always going to be provided for and taken care of because you've been provided for your whole life and you're good. And as long as your basic needs are being met, you have everything you need. You might not have what you want, but you always have what you need for basic survival is what you're saying. And anything extra is like a bonus. So that helps to take away the fear, kind of thinking it that way.
Yeah, I think you have to feel some sense of divine protection too, to push through sudden change.
I like that, knowing you're divinely protected and guided every step of the way. That's good. So, okay, with that being said, what are some major life changes that you've had to face and push through in your life? Like any major changes in your life that have caused upheaval or fear or stress in your life that you've had to push through and that you've overcome?
Well, for me, I mean, it's kind of personal, but my father, he died when I was only 19 years old. And he was 57, I was 19. Both our birthdays are in April, so I was like, I think I was a little less than 2 months away from my 20th birthday when he passed away. And he had health problems for a long time, but it was still unexpected though, because I didn't think he would pass away that, you know, fly came through there. But, I didn't think he would pass away that soon.
Yeah.
And I had to push through that because I still had my mother with me. I still had to help her because she was, they had been married for 32 years at the time he passed away. So I actually would think it was probably harder on her than it was on me.
You were so young.
Yeah, considering how long they had known one another. But the way I got through it was knowing I had to be strong for her and knowing that he would want me to continue, because he was not a person that gave up. He didn't like quitters or people that gave up on stuff. So that's one of the things he was very big on, was people pushing forward.
So he taught you the lesson of perseverance
Mm-hmm.
and strength and pushing through no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
He sounds like a good man.
Yeah, he was. And then, aside from that, as far as other major life changes, I've been laid off before.
You have?
Yeah.
How did you deal with that?
Actually, today is 1 year since I got laid off from my full-time job last year. Well, I had to, we're kind of getting back to the thing we was talking about, that knowing your basic needs are going to be provided for. I had to, I did have a part-time job, which helped out, but I had to just keep hunting and hunting. It took me 3 months, a little less than 3 months, but I found another full-time job.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
But I've always, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But,
you're good.
But I've always had that sense of divine protection.
You just know that you're protected and guided.
Yeah, like things would be okay. Like I didn't know how, I didn't know when, I didn't know the particulars of it, but I knew that things were going to be okay.
Well, I think it's admirable how much you've persevered and overcome. I mean, the death of a parent, I can only imagine how painful that is, like, and how scary that is, and how much that brings up, and
Yeah, and especially when they're so young, because 57 is still fairly young.
Very young.
Yeah.
But I know that your dad is very proud of you, and do you ever connect with him through like birds or spirit animals, or in your dreams? Do you ever feel his presence through any animals in nature or anything?
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool.
Because he was actually, this right here was one of his favorite places to be at. He loved to be near a lake or water or pool. Just any body of water he loved to be near.
That's so cool. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing all that. I know, I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing that with everybody here on the channel, and and how would you say, do you feel that Reiki has helped you with navigating change in your life?
I do, because it's one of them things you have to feel. You can't see it. You have to feel it within you.
You have to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, and today, with all the change happening in the world, how do you keep a balanced mindset when you see all this stuff and hear all this stuff going on the news and in the world, and people talking about all the uprising, the upheaval of everything happening? How do you keep that calm and that peace within you amidst the change and the storm around us in the world?
That's a good question. And I'm not sure I always keep the cool about it, because I do struggle with anxiety, but I try to remember that I'm always going to be taken care of, and that I'm always, that we're always, most of us for the most part are going to be safe. There are, instances where people get hurt or go through bad things. Like a big concern now is all the violence in the world.
Yes.
And that unfortunately does happen, but I believe that there, doesn't, most people are going to be protected.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So while I feel horrible for the people who are victims of violence, I also know that the vast majority of people are going to be safe.
Once again, it comes down to trusting that divine guidance, that divine protection.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's awesome. I really appreciate you sharing all those insights on change. And beautiful soul, you tuning into this video, if you're going through change right now, just know once again that this too shall pass. And, like what James brought up, change can either be temporary or it can be a permanent change. And some change we can control and some change we can't control, and learning to differentiate between the types of change we can control versus the type of change we just need to surrender to and trust that the divine has a plan is another. What helps me is the serenity prayer. Have you heard of the serenity prayer?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorite prayers, and I say it every day. And it's, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that really helps me to get in touch with that sense of divine protection that James was referring to remind me that there is a greater divine order, the universe has my back, and that's what brings me comfort as well. And I love how that was brought up, and James emphasized that because that is so important. And we have some healing affirmations to help you navigate change more effectively in your life, beautiful soul. And we're going to repeat them together. And I have this cool little sound chime that I'm going to use that was gifted to me by my mother. It's absolutely beautiful. So you want to repeat these together? I'll start and then, okay.
Sounds good.
I am safe.
I am safe.
I am divinely guided every step of the way.
I am divinely guided every step of the way.
There is nothing to fear.
There is nothing to fear.
I am willing to embrace change today.
I am willing to embrace change today.
I am able to go with the flow.
I am able to go with the flow.
I surrender.
I surrender.
I am free.
I am free.
I can change course at any time.
I can change course at any time.
I am letting go of the past and embracing the new.
I am letting go of the past and embracing the new.
And all is well.
And all is well.
Thank you so much, James. Did you want to add anything?
No, I believe you covered everything.
Wonderful. Well, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to be on the Weather Shaman channel, and thank you for all of the poetry you submitted to the channel too. And once again, beautiful soul, if you haven't checked out James's YouTube channel, be sure to check it out. Subscribe to his channel, give him some love and support. I'll put his channel below. And yes, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us, James. I know I gained a lot of insight from what you had to share. It's definitely helped awaken me to greater levels of consciousness and awareness about how I can better navigate change in my life. So thank you. And would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I hope what I said out there touches somebody and they're divinely guided by it.
I like that. Once again, going back to divine guidance. Everything's in divine order. All right, well, we are both sending you an abundance of peace, love, and light from us to you. Thank you so very much for tuning into this video. Namaste, beautiful soul.